Yeah, which happens to all of us. And I mean, every one of us, we have times where the inspiration is flowing more easily and times when it won't. And we even get to the time, Swamiji talked about it. I mean, he talked about a couple of things that happened. Remember, first he said he could not see Master. He just couldn't conjure up an image of Master. But he also says, it's probably in the New Path, that he went through a very dry period. He couldn't meditate. You know, this is Swamiji, who was going to be free in this life. He just couldn't meditate. But he never, ever let himself forget what his goal was. He never, ever let himself forget that he wanted to be meditating, that he needed to be meditating. And he sat and he tried, even if it didn't go anywhere. Now, again, we're not Swamiji, we're not living at Mount Washington, all of which helps. We don't have Master floating in and out of our lives. We're not all here necessarily surrounded, like walk out your door and you can get that energy, which is what we hope is in community. But if we have rules for ourselves, the rules for ourselves, I am a soul on a journey. Even when the ego is stronger than I am in that moment, I will, for instance, I will never let a morning go where I don't at least go and sit and pranam to the masters. Never, never will I let that happen, nor will I ever go to sleep at night without doing that. So that's a rule. And it doesn't, you know, meditation is hard. It takes a lot of energy to be able to meditate. And the way the ego plays with us is by infecting our minds with laziness, dullness. These are the meannesses of the heart. This is what I was talking about. I don't know if you were here yet, Piyush, but this is what Patanjali talks about. Laziness, dullness, he uses that word, greed, all of the things, you know, the other things that we're doing with our life when we're not meditating, but we still want them in that moment more than we want to meditate. It's just the truth. We have to be honest about where we are, because people come to me all the time and say, I really want to, meditate more, but I really want to move into the community, but I really want to be a vegetarian, but no, you actually, not enough, not yet. And it's okay. They come to me, I'm still going to love you. I will always love you. You're perfect. And you just don't want it enough yet. As soon as you want it enough, there's ways to make it happen, no matter life circumstance. I used to say to people when I was more in medicine, and it was a perfect analogy, but it is still, unless somebody drops dead in front of you and you have to be doing CPR or calling 911, you have 5 minutes to meditate. I can't think of any other situation, unless somebody is really sick, that you cannot sit 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Just talk to God. There are many times where I couldn't meditate. You've heard me say this. I filled up so many books, handwritten, with japa. I wrote it when I couldn't meditate. I would just write it. Om Shri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Shri Rama, line after line after line. 100 books at least they were taken to India and put under murtis that were about to be installed. But they were written when I couldn't meditate. But it's easier to just write japa. Even if your mind wanders, you just keep writing. You do something so that you don't forget, even for this much time. And I think that's the only way, because if we beat ourselves up too much, if we make ourselves sit when we hate it, we'll really hate it. Not the way to do it. If we quit eating meat or fish when we're craving it, we're going to hate everything about it, the path makes me do this, whatever it is, being nice to our partner, I mean, whatever it is, if it's too hard and we push, and Swamiji says this, I don't remember where, I'm sorry, there's so many sources that I go to for classes, but he says suppression is never the way to grow spiritually, never. And he's talking about it as much when people used to come to him. By the way, in the last couple of years of his life, he just didn't want people asking him about sex anymore. He was done with those same questions that come, but my partner, but. But when people would talk to him, this was primarily the way this question was answered. It was about sexuality. And he said, you don't get through it by suppressing those desires, by just trying to ignore them. We don't get through anything. We have to transmute it. Everything. About ego, ego, which is everything. Everything, right? Yeah, you can't suppress, do you remember? I'll repeat this.
I read it in Kriya Yoga as a quote from Devarshi, so.
Oh, I see, yeah. Well, Devarshi is very often quoting Swamiji. So if he said it about ego, but it's true about everything. We can't just suppress, it makes the desire stronger. It just makes it more. So don't be brutal with yourself, but I mean, none of us should. We just have to acknowledge it, but we always hold the goal. Don't let go of that.